Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2022 Chevy Trailblazer active all-wheel drive. The Monroney isn't perfectly accurate, so we'll just say it's around $30,000 for this one. The Monroney I have shows $32,000, but this one's missing some of the options that are listed there. So this all-wheel drive active is kind of an outdoorsman trim, I guess. It's one they kind of sell with slightly more aggressive tires with these Dynapro AT2s from Hankook. And I mean, they're not super aggressive, but they're not just an economy tire as you often find on vehicles this size. It's a fun little vehicle to drive. Let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. Here we have the 1.3 liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder engine. Puts out about 155 horsepower and 174 foot-pounds of torque. And there is a little bit of turbo lag down low for sure, but it's paired with a 9-speed automatic, so you've got pretty good gearing throughout the range. And as you get into the higher speeds, it's definitely not as responsive, but it's a small vehicle with a small engine. Good enough amount of power. If you're fully loaded, it's gonna be a little bit slower, of course, but as is, if you're using it for a commuter car, you're getting 30 miles to the gallon and you have plenty of power to jump out into traffic when needs be, as long as you have enough time for that turbo to spool up. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. Here inside, it's nicely equipped. Leather heated seats, heated steering wheel. It's got adaptive cruise control. Sorry, you're getting a little bit of sun glare there. And it does have actual fog lights. So when I flip it over to just the running lights or parking lights, however you want to call those, and hit the fog light button, you see it pops up there. So actual fog lights, definitely a benefit here. It does have one drive mode, which is sport, and then you have the all-wheel drive. So without the all-wheel drive on, it strictly stays in front-wheel drive mode. You hit that button and then it will activate the all-wheel drive as needed, and that's in any of the modes, sport or regular mode, I guess, since those are the only two you have. But it does that so you can have maximum efficiency, or if you're driving in the winter time, bad weather, or maybe on a dirt road, you can go ahead and just hit the all-wheel drive button and it will stay in all-wheel drive. The audio is okay. It's not top tier, but it's not certainly the worst new vehicle's audio system that I've heard. And it does sound, you know, pretty good. I cranked up the sound a little bit, the volume a bit, and it stayed really clear up to my maximum threshold. I don't like listening to music real loud, so obviously other people are gonna be way beyond what I do, and this system probably won't meet their needs, but for me, this was great. I do like the additional trim colors here in the active. You get a little bit of these gold accents, and the actual color, so it's brown and white on the outside, but the color is Zeus Bronze for the exterior, and then Jet Black Arizona for the interior. I don't know. Jet Black with Arizona accents. There we go for the interior. It does have cup holders. That's kind of a spot for your phone, but my phone's too fat. Doesn't quite fit all the way in there. However, there is wireless charging there, and my phone will charge from that. A couple extra charging ports, USB-A, USB-C, other way around. Anyway, USB-C, USB-A, auxiliary, 12-volt outlet here, and in the rear there's a 110-volt outlet. Little shelf here. I've had people mention that that would be a good spot for another wireless charging pad for the passengers on other vehicles. So again, here, that would be a nice feature to have. The passenger can charge theirs in that spot while the driver charges down there where it's not quite as accessible. There is no nav. It uses navigation through your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and you can of course connect your phone via Bluetooth and all that kind of stuff with this. Center console, I was a little upset when I first opened it and saw that's how deep that is, because this thing is so, you know, it goes all the way down there, but actually that comes out and it is the full depth there. So definitely nice to have that. No sunglass holder, just the light controls up here, and then OnStar and your SOS stuff, of course. It does have illuminated mirrors as well. Let's take a look in the back seat. Here in the back seat, you don't have much. There's no air ducts anywhere. You get the ones strictly from under the seat for your feet, and there aren't any vents here. However, down below, we do have a 110 volt outlet and a USB-C, USB-A charging ports, and that's about all you get. There are cup holders here in the center armrest, and in the door there are pockets there. The seats do fold. Just simply grab the handle up there, and we'll take a look at that from the cargo area. So here in the cargo area, to open it, there's a button down there. It's not powered, so you lift it yourself, and you can see the backup camera is actually way down here at the bottom, and decent amount of space back here actually for how small the vehicle is. If you want to fold the seat to get extra space, simply push that forward, and there you go. You can push it all the way down and get a decent amount of space in there. You might be able to sleep in here if you're short and you sleep diagonal, but it's probably a little too small for most people. It does have these pockets on both sides, with the right side one being deeper, and there are also 4 of these anchors, one in each corner. Underneath here, they have a nice feature where that just slides down and holds itself up. You've got your spare tire and a significant amount of additional storage space under there if needed. Here we are at the S-curves going the opposite way of the normal route. And so if you hit the power, it goes to oversteer, or sorry, understeer right away. And then as you touch the brakes, it will get into oversteer, but it's pretty well controlled. Yeah, it's, for the most part, it's understeer, but if you get the brakes at just the right moment, you can get it go into oversteer. However, the suspension is pretty stiff and it handles quite well, remains fairly flat in the corners and under braking and all that. So it handles that kind of stuff pretty well. Merging onto the freeway is pretty easy. This little 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder does okay for this vehicle. It's not overpowered, but it has enough, especially in the lower gears. With the 9-speed auto, the lower gears give you a good ratio. As you get up into the higher gears, it's not quite as responsive, but overall it does pretty well. It's a small vehicle, so lightweight that having that small engine isn't an issue. It's a little bit noisy in here as well. Not over the top, but I mean, we're going 65 miles an hour right now, and it's just a little bit louder than, you know, some of the higher end vehicles are more expensive. I mean, this one's just over $30,000 as it's equipped, so certainly not an expensive vehicle, but for how small it is, that's kind of what you would expect. It does have the adaptive cruise control that keeps the distance from the car in front of you, and that worked well. It also has lane keep assist, but I haven't really used that stuff much. I don't like those features a ton, just because they always seem to have issues for me. They never seem to work perfectly, and I can't trust them enough that I can just leave it on, you know, all the time. I'm hitting the brake myself, or, you know, steering myself before the vehicle has a chance to correct itself, which is fine. They don't claim to be self-driving by any means, but it's hard to use a system that I don't trust. All right, 0 to 60, 3, 2, 1, go. This is in normal mode with all-wheel drive on. Yeah, it's pretty slow. It takes a while to get there, and we are at 60. Okay. Yeah, I expect it to be a tiny bit faster than that from the other tests I've done. I've been going uphill. I've been doing it in two-wheel drive, so maybe that makes a little bit of a difference. I haven't gone to a full 60 yet, so there is that issue as well. I mean, not bad. You can jump into traffic. That first gear, second gear is okay. You get into third, and it's kind of, the engine just doesn't have quite enough power to pull through it hard like it does in the first two gears. You can brake torque it, build boost, launch it a little harder, and I did do that off-road, and it did let me raise the RPMs a little bit to help me build up that torque so I could launch from a kind of precarious spot. Anyway, yeah, it does okay. Again, small vehicle. I don't expect a ton of power out of it. I don't expect it to be like a high-end Mercedes this size or Audi or whatever. It's not one of those types of vehicles, but it's not as bad, as slow as something like the Nissan Kick. So it's kind of an in-betweener. It's in-betweener on price. Build quality is great inside. I like it a lot. Overall, great vehicle. When you're just cruising around town, this thing is excellent. It's got great handling. I mean, it's fairly stiff handling. Cars this size, you almost don't need power steering, and I mean, they're just so little and easy to steer anyway. So the less intrusion you get from assistance features, the more connected you are to the road. And this thing is actually fairly connected to the road. I know I mentioned the stiffer suspension many times, both on-road and off-road, but that does have benefits and drawbacks. You are more connected to the road, you know what the road's doing, but you're also feeling the road a lot more when you may not want to be. I don't have a lot to say about this vehicle. I mean, it's pretty basic overall. It's got everything you need, nothing you don't. I mean, some people may want nav, and that might be an option. Cooled seats. It looks like there's a couple of switch blanks there, so you can get cooled seats on it if that's what you want. Some people have been asking for this, so right here, manufactured by GM Korea. Kind of cool, I guess. We know it's not made here in the US. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2022 Chevy Trailblazer Active with all-wheel drive. It is a fun little vehicle to drive. It's small, makes it a nice city vehicle, easy to maneuver, easy to park. It rides a little stiff, which means you don't lean in the corners much, which again, it could be a plus or a minus depending on how you like to drive. And decent amount of power, has enough to get up and go, but it's not extremely fast. And overall, pretty good vehicle with a pretty good value. $30,000. We've had a few of these recently, starting, you know, the Nissan Kicks around 20 to 26, I think, going all the way up to like 60,000 plus for the Infiniti QX55. So this one at $30,000, it kind of sits in the middle, has decent features, and overall not a bad vehicle. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos. Give me a thumbs up and comment down below. If you didn't like it and you give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment down below and let me know why. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.